This is Michael Popok, Legal AF, with some breaking news and analysis about a case against Fox News in a Delaware Superior courtroom. It's a libel and defamation case brought by Dominion Voting Machines, who was brutally defamed and libeled, so their lawsuit says, by on-air personalities of Fox based on the last election, accusing them through their guests and their opinion commentary of having fraudulent voting machines, insecure voting machines, and ones that could be hacked to rig an election, and arguing and giving the opinion that these voting machines rigged the election as part of the big lie in favor of Joe Biden. How did Fox News do that, according to Dominion's lawsuit? They brought on guest after guest after guest, Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, dozens and dozens of times on shows like Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Jeanine Pirro, and allowed them to spout these lies that have now been debunked by the Jan 6 committee, by cybersecurity election offices of the United States government, by the FBI, by the Department of Justice, by 70 lawsuits brought by Trump. But yet, Fox News allowed these people, selected these people, the producers did, to come on the show and give these opinions. And then, of course, the Fox News personalities didn't just sit on their hands or with their mouths taped shut with duct tape. They made commentary against Dominion, defamatory to Dominion, going into the segment, during the segment, and coming out of the segment. So even though they'll try to argue under the First Amendment, Fox News will argue that it was opinion based on a fraudulent and false set of facts can be defamatory. An opinion that is based on a set of facts that the person listening to this or watching this would believe to be true, that's not true, can also form the basis of defamation. So opinion is not going to be an ultimate defense, I don't believe, for Fox News. And then they're left with trying to argue that Dominion can't prove what's called actual malice. The last firewall for a legitimate news organization, and let's assume for a moment that Fox fits that criteria, not sure that they do, but for First Amendment analysis, they likely do. The first firewall is actual malice, meaning the plaintiff suing for defamation in this scenario has to prove that the news media outlet either knew what they were reporting or opining on was false, or recklessly disregarded whether it was true or false, meaning that they just threw up their hands and said, well, we don't really care whether this is true or false because it's great for ratings. To that point, the judge has opened the floodgates, the Pandora's box, against Fox News, and has given Dominion everything that they've asked for. So Dominion has not only had 24 depositions of all of the on-air personalities that we love to hate, including Tucker Carlson and Pirro, but the judge is allowing another set of depositions to take place as well of these same people, now that Dominion has gotten their hands on internal emails and text messages. It's even moved on to producers and the highest level of management at Fox, including the CEO of Fox Media Group, which runs Fox News, and the CEO of the entire Fox Corporation, which is Rupert Murdoch's son, who's going to be deposed within a day. He's also, Judge Davis, allowed all of the employment contracts to come out, all of the emails and text messages among and between these various on-air personalities, management, and producers. And the needle in the haystack that, of course, Dominion is looking for are emails and correspondence and communications that they can put up in front of a jury that indicates that either Fox News knew that Giuliani and the others were liars, or that the opinions that were being given by Tucker Carlson and others was a lie, was defamatory, was false, or show that they didn't really care whether it was true or false, but it was so great for ratings, they were going to go forward with it. That is the hurdle, of course. This is going to make new law one way or the other. For those that think, well, it's in Delaware, what will happen next? It will not go to the U.S. Supreme Court. We're going to stay in the state system because that's where the case was filed. Smartly so, I would suggest, by the lawyers for Dominion. This was not this decision to file in state court versus federal court was not taken lightly. The Superior Court of Delaware, contrasted with the Chancery Court of Delaware, where all that Twitter litigation and Elon Musk litigation takes place, the Superior Court, which is across the street, is sort of known by the trial bar as sort of the wild, wild west. If you want a jury and you want to go for major damages and get out from under a judge deciding on damages, you want to go to Delaware Superior Court. And they pulled a great judge in Eric Davis, who's a former colleague of mine. He worked at a firm that I worked with when I started my career. He started his career at the same law firm, Skadden Arps, eventually worked his way and got us all the way up to the top, which is the Superior Court in Delaware. The jury verdict that results will stay with Judge Davis on post-trial motion practice. And then if somebody doesn't like the outcome, they can't go to the U.S. Supreme Court. They've got to go to the Delaware Supreme Court. And so that kind of keeps it there. But Delaware is a really important court and court system for corporate America. We've talked about this before on Legal AF, but as a summary, as a primer, most Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in Delaware, both for the tax treatment that's favorable to them in Delaware and because for the last 100 years, there is a body of law and judges that are used to complicated, complex business matters, and corporations like to have the reliability of outcome that comes from going to courthouses that know business and business law. So people incorporate there, companies incorporate there in order to get the benefit of a very sophisticated bench, judges, and a body of law that's developed over the last 100 years in Delaware. So this ruling will not just impact Fox News on First Amendment libel and defamation issues. This will be the first major case since 1964 in the area of libel that will matter and resonate, because most of the other media companies that are competitors of Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and the like, ABC, they're all incorporated in Delaware. So a ruling there will have a shockwave effect, a domino effect on how media companies operate post the case, after the case of Dominion versus Fox News. And the fact that they've even gotten to the very highest tippy-top level of executive and owner in the Murdoch family is a shocking development in the discovery here, and probably indicates the strengthening of Dominion's hand. Now, look, if this deposition this coming week goes poorly, and we won't know what happens in the deposition because that is private, but if it goes poorly, look for a settlement negotiation to break out between the law firms that are representing Fox News on one hand and Dominion on the other, because Fox News can't risk having their key people like Rupert Murdoch give a trial testimony in front of a jury and risk an outcome that would be devastating for them if it goes badly. I mean, if this jury rules against them, it will set new precedent about media companies and what they can and can't do, even on their opinion-based shows in the future. I'm not sure even Fox News is ballsy enough to want to set bad precedent against its business model for the future. So these cases generally settle. This hasn't yet settled. I think after this next round of depositions of Carlson and Pirro a second time, and Rupert Murdoch and his son for the first time, we might see a glimmer in the winter of a settlement negotiations. If not, it's full steam ahead to April for a $1.6 billion lawsuit, plus punitive damages above that brought by Dominion. We will keep a close watch on it on Legal AF, and we'll either bring you an update like this one, or we'll save it for our Wednesday or Saturday show. This is Michael Popok, Legal AF, with the breaking analysis about Dominion voting machines versus Fox News.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.